membrane that houses a special lubricant called synovial fluid. This helps to reduce friction and therefore the generation of pain. Unfortunately, in osteoarthritis, impulses or inputs may cause distraction of some of these structures within the joint. For example, the cartilage that covers the surface of the bone. Or even you can get ligament damage. You can even get the synovial membrane also damaging, and then the leakage of the synovial fluid. And what normally happens is that the individual will lose the space in between the two. And with reduced cartilage or almost gone, the two bones are likely going to rub together beyond the extent of repair, and this results in chronic pain. When this happens, we say that the person is suffering from osteoarthritis, distraction in the structures of the joint, for example, the cartilage or the ligament or the synovial membrane, leading to the two bones that constitute the joints coming together very close. At times, they can even touch each other. So you are losing the joint space. No lubricant, no covering of the surfaces of the bone. You are going to get the two bones rubbing against each other. That will cause excessive pain. This is what is referred to as osteoarthritis. So it is said that osteoarthritis is a progressive disease in which cartilage, the membrane or the structure that covers the surface of the bone, is destroyed. And this could be due to either mechanical or biological inputs. We will look at the etiologies, where some of them will be mechanical, others will be biological. It involves the stabilization of the production of these bone structures and their distractions. So what happens is that the level of production normally will not be able to match the level of distraction of these structures. So, for example, you get the level of distraction of the cartilage overwhelming the level of its production. Typically, chondrocytes are the cells that will be producing the cartilage. When chondrocytes begins to die, it means that they will be unable to produce enough cartilage. You have proteolytic enzymes that also destroy these proteinaceous substances. So if those proteolytic enzymes activity overwhelms that of the chondrocyte, then you get a deficit. This is what is referred to as the destabilization of the normal coupling. You will be in the deficit and therefore you can't maintain the joint. This condition is typically common when it comes to increasing age, in particular those above 65. It is very common with them. For example, as you always move, now you are young, you are jumping, you are running, there is gradual wear and tear of the structures within the joint. So by the time you reach around 60, 65, and you may have enough distraction to suffer from such a problem. And therefore, it's not surprising that most people around 65 and above would normally suffer from such a joint distraction. Now, what are the etiologies? what are the root causes? We've implicated increasing age. And of course, as you age, as I said, the wear and tear continues. So by the time you are old enough, then you'll be having a lot of distraction such that a problem of osteoarthritis may occur. These guidelines would say that it starts or it is more common from 45, that early stage. But the American College of Rheumatology and the Arthritis Foundation, they normally implicate 50 years and above as the ages that are very common when it comes to osteoarthritis. Then gender. Unfortunately, females are the disadvantaged end. They have associated.
Okay, so for gouty arthritis, males are more disadvantaged than females.
Why? Any possible explanation, or is just an association, something that has been found? And they are yet to get the explanation.
Possibly
It is
from
true.
increased consumption of alcohol, and
So, but nowadays, you know,
by now you're mutual.
nowadays, females, when they sit, because we buy the trapper and mucha. So any other possible reason? Whilst males, they are at risk as compared to females. Gouty arthritis. What are the risk factors for gouty arthritis?
So for the
Apart from the gender issue, okay, any other person with an explanation? Ask Captain, give me one person. Give me one person to try and then link male gender to gouty arthritis. Hello? Please, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, please.
Any explanation as to why male gender is a risk for gouty arthritis? Here we are implicating female gender. Possible explanation: wider hips, hormonal issues. Others even talk about patella and then femoral abnormalities, more common in females. Yeah, hello.
Doc, please. So I read something that because of the higher amount
male
of
gender, gout.
yes, the higher amount of estrogen in females, and estrogen is uricosuric, so it means that the amount of uric acid in the blood of females will decrease, and so when they get to
That is
the
one.
postmenopausal age, and when the estrogen goes down, that's when the females are also going to have increased chances of getting the gout.
Very good, very good. So that is one. That is one. So estrogen is uricosuric. It's able to cause the clearance of uric acid. And therefore, before menopause, it goes against men. But when everything goes after menopause, then they become just like men. Then we are almost at the same level. Another explanation is that men do have increased muscle mass. We have higher muscle mass as compared to our female counterparts. And the more you have increased turnover. More of them will die. And therefore, you tend to produce excessive levels of purine. As you break down more muscles, you produce more purine. You remember the physiological pathway of purine metabolism. The end product is uric acid. So you have all these xanthine oxidase and whatever, those enzymes in purine. And once you break down to uric acid, and therefore men tend to have higher levels of uric acid by this theory as compared to their female counterparts. So estrogen theory in females, it favors them. Higher muscle mass goes against men. All right, let's continue. One example of the biological factors include genetic predisposition. Some people do have abnormalities when it comes to genes that codes for collagen. So we call it type 2 collagen defect. Type 2 collagen defect. And of course, you need collagen to produce some of these joint structures. And this, if it is defective, then it predisposes the person to osteoarthritis. The most important modifier or obese, weight-bearing joints, for example, your hip and your knees, these are mostly affected. Kind of mechanical stress. You are putting a lot of stress on the joints because of your weight. So if you are obese, your knee and your hips, that is your waist, you have to carry a lot of load. So you'll be putting too much pressure on them. And therefore, overweight or obesity becomes worse when you are even morbidly obese. These are very, very serious risk factors. Then, when you suffer from joint injuries, especially either injury to the bone, cartilage, or the ligament, any of the structures that make up the joint, if you suffer, maybe as a result of the work that you do, you are a sportsman, you play soccer, you get ACL, anterior cruciate ligament, as the players has been suffering, this will predispose you to osteoarthritis. Then, if you have any of the other arthritic conditions that can destroy bone structures, so gouty arthritis, which is a crystal problem. What are the crystals that can contribute to gout? Both gouty arthritis proper and pseudogout. Class captain, which crystals will lead you to gouty arthritis and which crystals will lead you to pseudogout? Hello? It's because you've done gout. That's why I'm asking you questions. Class captain, I always call you, but it doesn't mean that you are the one always supposed to answer. You can give me another person. Yeah. You are the liaison officer, so I always call on you.
Okay.
So which crystals contribute to gouty arthritis proper and which ones contribute to pseudogout?
Okay, so for the gouty arthritis, monosodium urate crystals have been implicated otherwise, which contribute to gouty arthritis.
Perfect. Then pseudogout?
Pseudogout, calcium oxalate,
calcium
calcium,
so pyrophosphate, pyrophosphate or oxalate crystals. Perfect. So any of these crystallopathies can also contribute to joint destruction, and that may lead to osteoarthritis. So it means that the end stage of any possible joint problem could be osteoarthritis, because even gout and rheumatoid arthritis, they are serving as risk factors here. You could also suffer from septic arthritis, where you get infections of the joint, and the infection leads to excessive inflammation that results in joint destruction. This can also cause joint space narrowing and therefore osteoarthritis. Those who suffer from neuropathic joint problems, example, Charcot joint. People with diabetes can suffer from Charcot arthropathy. Charcot arthropathy, and this can lead to joint destruction, which will result in osteoarthritis. Some people, unlucky for them, they are born with abnormalities. So, for example, if you have congenital abnormalities of the hip, and already you are born with it, the joint is destroyed even before you were born. All of these are possible etiologies when it comes to osteoarthritis. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? If not, then let's look at the pathophysiology.